Hello, we are live. We do it old school over here. No countdown, no intro video, no pomp or circumstance. Just a couple of jabronis talking comics. My name is Alec. This is White Whale Comics. Probably know if you're here. I can't imagine I'm getting any new viewers at this point. And with me, as always, the Jimmy Olsen to my Clark Kent.
There you go. I like that.
John's Comics with Friends. What's up, buddy?
Not much. After that new Superman movie, that's a bigger compliment than it used to be. He's got all the ladies. Jimmy Olsen's the one that all the ladies like. So I'll take it.
Ladies love cool Jimmy.
Yeah, right.
The new LL Cool J.
LL Cool J. Yep. I'll take it.
But we're not here to talk about movies. Movies are for the general public. We're here to talk about funny books. And by funny, I mean neither of these are very funny at all.
Yeah. Dark, graphically violent, and depressing.
Pretty serious stuff.
Yeah.
As you can tell from the thumbnail, the main title we're talking about today is Die Loaded, #1. I've got all the covers.
Yeah, I mean, I think I only got 2, right? Oh, there's a third one. Yeah, I don't have that one. I've got the bear and I've got this one.
Yeah, I didn't actually buy the 4th cover because it was like the Young Blood
homage,
or like that they're doing for across the line of Image books, which not interested. But I got the AB and that 1 in 25.
Sure.
First of all, TJ in the chat, what's up, buddy? Always nice to see you. Better than talking anything absolute. Oh, better not be talking anything absolute. Yeah, I mean, we can.
Absolute Batman is still really, 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 really good.
Absolute Batman is just
still batshit crazy.
Ridiculous.
Did you see the battle he had with Bane at the end of that storyline? Where Bane is like a kaiju? He's so big, and Batman is already like 8 feet tall in this universe, and Batman's like
400 pounds.
Batman looks so tiny, and Bane's as big as a building. The whole thing is just.
And I haven't read it yet, but the new demonic Joker.
Yep.
That came out this week.
I mean, I like the idea that a Bane could infect crazy characters in Gotham with his venom, and it would have bizarre impact, but the design work is so over the top. It's so borderline satirical for me.
I was going to say, like you said, if Scott Snyder knew he was writing a comedy, it would work really well.
Right. And if you haven't read the annual, I feel like Daniel Warren Johnson gets the joke. Like, I feel like Daniel Warren Johnson's like, oh, this is hilarious. Let's have him, crunch the Nazis in the face with the knee.
Right.
He gets the joke, I feel like.
I mean, it's basically just another issue of drawing a blank of the name of that book.
Murder Falcon or Powerbomb or
do a Powerbomb.
Yeah. I mean, there's wrestling moves. He's suplexing guys. It's like Batman just goes off, and it's hilarious. And if you can read that one and laugh at it, then I feel like why aren't we making the other issues as funny as this?
Not everyone is as talented and in touch as Daniel Warren Johnson.
This is true.
But
I did catch up on his indie. The Moon is Following Us, which I think we did issue 1 at one point.
Yeah.
Worth the time. Very, very powerful as always.
Very cool. The back issue market for those Absolute Batman books is just going to crash so hard. If people are spending $150 for a raw copy or $300 for a graded copy, you're going to get burned.
Ooh. Yeah. I mean, I'm just glad I'm not playing in those waters. It's scary stuff, man. It's wild. But hey, I'm glad it's hyping people to go to their shops and read books. Sure. And they're not just talking about like, oh, the speculation value of like, oh, it's a first appearance of it, whatever. No, it's just like they love the story, they love the art, they are into it. Like that for me. I don't want to shame something that somebody's really enjoying.
different strokes for different folks. Like we say that all the time on this show. Like,
right.
just because we crap on something doesn't mean it's necessarily bad. We're not the final judges of the comic world by any means. I know I'm an idiot. I just say what I think.
Well, I like that it's like, for me, it's the good kind of spec, in the sense that it's not based on something crappy like, oh, it's that cool cover, or it's the first appearance of some guy's aunt or whatever. But it's like, no, these people are just hyped on a book that they're loving.
Yeah.
And they're reading it with passion.
My one concern when anything booms and ultimately busts like this is, if it is bringing people in from the collectible side, that's great, because we need, the hobby to continue to flourish. But I think it could possibly turn off a lot of these people who are entering the hobby with this book, or taking the next step into the hobby with this book, and thinking like, oh, I made this really sound financial decision by investing in Absolute Batman, when that's the print runs and say, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah. I mean, for me, like that, and maybe we're derailing already at 6 minutes in.
Whatever. It's my channel. We do what we want.
If we're worried about people who are genuinely using comic books as an investment source, I think we're already deep in the weeds.
I guess, like, I don't necessarily mean the people who are Pokemon carding it, where they're saying, oh, this is going to be my retirement, like they did in the 90s, but more so like, oh, I'm excited about collecting comics because I'm buying these books that are worth a lot of money. And then when they see that suddenly they're not worth a lot of money, and it kind of loses its luster for a collector.
Right.
Flippers, I don't count towards the health of the hobby.
Sure.
Good. Like, they might drive some sales because they're buying books, but doesn't mean they're injecting anything worthwhile.
Yeah, and I don't mind the collectors who are like hoping to like increase the value of a book, but like, if the focus is all on the money, then the mind is in the wrong place, I think, in this hobby at least.
Yeah. What's this investment thing you speak of? Obviously,
you'd have to stop building houses out of them, TJ. And start selling them at some point.
Obviously, none of us are at the level TJ is, where he will never ever sell a book ever. We have both sold books.
I'm not at TJ's level on all the levels that exist.
Yeah, well, none of us are. But like, I still take satisfaction in knowing that I bought a book for X amount of dollars, and I made a sound investment, and now it's worth X amount of dollars. It's just, personal bragging rights, if nothing else.
Yeah. I found that book in a short box and it was labeled at cover price, whatever.
Or even like, I bought my GSX1 for like $700, and now it's books for like $3,000, and with a grade it's in,
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, let's talk about comics. You want to save die, or should we make sure we have time to talk about it?
Let's start with it, because I don't see enough people talking about it, and I kind of feel like it's a shame.
Yeah, I think it went a little bit under the radar. It didn't,
right?
Like, it kind of just like came out, and I'm not sure. It certainly didn't get the like pop of interest the first series got.
Right.
I think, and I know it's a weird take on it, but I think it's partially because the cover for issue 1 for the first series was so engaging and entrancing that people gravitated to a more, like, I like the cover for this new one, but it's not I feel like that first issue was iconic.
Yeah. It's super thought-provoking, and you were like, what is this about?
The design of it, and everything. It hit all the right marks. And then the book was actually good, and so people started talking about it.
And it's sad that the quality of the variants would impact, or even the cover A would impact the popularity of something, but that is what comic books are. I mean, that is the market,
Especially with, graded books. Obviously the cover is the point of it. Sorry, TJ, you could have blank pages in the middle and it wouldn't make a difference, because
I got my 3 slabs right there.
Yeah.
1, 2. Those are my die slabs.
You got your fancy one.
Issue 1, issue 20, and then the ratio. What was it? A ratio or incentive?
I think it was like a con exclusive or something.
Yeah, something.
It was,
and they signed like a third of them because there were so few, and none of them got. None of them went through the gold label process, so they're almost all green labels.
Yeah.
But I got a nice 9.6. Nice.
Yeah. It definitely was not like something you could just get at your local comic shop. It was some extracurricular thing. So I did refresh my brain a little bit for the first series because it was, I haven't read it since it came out, which I'm ashamed about. I need to go back and reread it. But you being, I would say, the aficionado of Die, do you want to give a quick lead in? Like, you don't have to go over the whole series, but a quick lead in, and then we can talk about this.
Obviously they give you the little intro and the first page here.
It's funny because for a 20-issue series, that's really condenses it down.
It's incredibly simplified, but it almost feels like a horror movie title card, like to get you like scared of what could possibly be coming, right?
Yeah, and also like I've kind of liked it because it, I don't know that this necessarily stands on its own completely, but I feel like they just didn't want to bog you down in lore before jumping into this thing because, obviously it references the old series a lot, but it also could be an issue 1 of its own series and without any previous series and still work.
Yeah.
Which is a hard thing to do. So I think that's why they weren't like full page of text where people would just lose interest immediately.
Right. Yeah. No, I liked it. I thought it was a nice summary. It basically just reminds us that, the story started in 1991, a group of kids playing a D&D-esque sort of role-play game. And like a Jumanji, they sort of get sucked into it and vanish for 2 years. And all but one of them come back out those 2 years later. And then they try to make normal lives until 2018, when they get pulled back in again by the one guy that didn't leave, the one that stayed behind, the sort of dungeon master character. Each one of them is sort of represented by a die, die 6 or die 4 or whatever. Like they've all got a particular die that is representative of who they are in the game. And exactly. There's a die 8, there's a die 20, die 10, and each die comes with its own pluses and minuses based on the kind of character they're playing, whether it's more like a rogue or what have you. So the original 20 issues really followed them from 2018 when they go back into the game all the way to the end when they make it back out again and one of them dies. Spoiler. And this book takes place basically 2 years after, or a handful of years after they've made it back. And they came back right in the middle of COVID, which I thought was a nice touch. And
from one hell to another.
Yeah. And they are now navigating the lives that they had most of them had created, in between trips to this game, and what they've learned about themselves, specifically the main character of Ash, who is the woman on the cover here, born a man, but in the game was playing a female character. And then during those 2 years that they lived in Die, lived as a woman for 2 years and came back with ultimately a lot of questions about his own gender identity. And for me, that was a big part of this book, is identity, not gender identity, I would say, but identity in general, trying to understand, where does the character I was playing in this game and my real life persona, where do they meld? Where do they blend?
Right. It's all, as two nerds who also play D&D on this platform. Obviously I think there's always that question of like separating what you would do from what the character would do. And
right.
in a real life situation like they are in the book, that line must be much more blurred.
Right.
So
and then and then there's no like break. It's not like you play for 2 hours and then go back. This is like you spent 2 years in that body, right?
So I'm sure you start to question, like, especially for Ash.
Yeah.
Am I playing this female character because that's what I was kind of thrown into, or am I playing this because this is what I wanted all along? Or,
right.
I mean, obviously that is a very direct example of what you're saying, but it is, a very easy to understand example of this question of identity and the character you're playing versus your Earth self.
Yeah. Yeah. And for Ash, I think, the character mentions plenty of times in the original 20 issue arc that it's almost like they feel more comfortable in the female form that they've taken in the game. There's a lot of commentary, inner monologue sort of thinking going on with Ash, feeling like, as much as this game is dangerous and it's injuring, killing, and scarring everybody, maybe this is who I really am. Maybe I'm happier in this body, right?
Maybe not happy in this situation, but
correct.
I am more comfortable living as this person than who I thought I was.
Right. So we jump back to Ash. He has a child with his wife, and the inner monologue already is talking about what has gone on in the interim, right? In the time
this
since
this
they've
is
come
in
back.
the real world, by the way.
This is back in our real world. They made it home, all but one. Their friend Chuck, who was the rogue character, died at the end, and they found his body in not long after all of them made it home, and they had a funeral for him, but because of COVID they couldn't get together for a memorial. And so the moment that we jump into basically is the night of the memorial for Chuck, the character who died at the end of the first story. And you're seeing how our heroes from the previous storyline have grown, changed, suffered, etc. After that second time in the game, specifically, obviously Ash, but we also get some time with Saul, who was the gentleman who was trapped all that time in the game and sort of went mad in the game. He carved out his eyes and was wearing dye 20s in both eyes. And he was the one that had manipulated this godlike power that was creating the game to bring them all back. And so in some ways he was the antagonist for their story.
But in a way a sympathetic one, because he was left behind, sort of.
Yeah, I mean his story was one of being isolated and lonely and missing them and wanting to finish the game and wanting to get home, but it was a very complicated life he was living. So you see all the characters at the memorial service in various stages of grief, etc., and you kind of get little connections with different characters and what impact has the game had on them and the return to this life, because at different points in the original story they wanted to go home or they changed their mind. There was a lot of flip-flopping about like, where do we want to be right now? So Adam, how you doing?
Adam, how you doing?
In particular, we have Saul, the like I said, the gentleman who was stuck in the game, saying that he has been trying to complete a design for a dye board game, and like in a sort of in the mouth of madness John Carpenter sort of way wants to like send it out into the world. And of course this is very upsetting to Ash, who's like, no, we agreed to keep this quiet. We told people we were kidnapped, traumatized, and don't remember anything. Like we're not going to share this trauma with the world and inflict potentially more power on this god that's manipulating everything here. So
and
there's a lot of conflict.
There is actually a real world, our world RPG that they made.
And I kickstarted it, and I've got it, and I'd love to play it at some point, but I don't know that I have enough people that know it and have it are ready for it.
Well, they released at least a partial version of it with this first issue, which I
the quick
up.
start, the quick start guide. So then I'll just try to quickly finish it all off. They all get a present. All the guests, or at least some of the guests, get a little gift from Chuck at the memorial, which is kind of odd because how did he know he was going to be giving them things? The guy died in the game, whatever.
Well, they said it was stated in his will.
Yeah. Which feels hinky to me. It feels very much God in the Machine kind of thing here. Ash opens his present when he's finally home again, and it's one of the figurines from the game. It's his character, if I'm not mistaken. And he's kind of like shocked and laughing at it, and then he hears his wife say, "Oh yeah, I got one too." Well, it's one of those little dice.
I got the impression he's laughing at it because he thought when he tipped the box, he heard it kind of rattle in there, and he thought it was going to be a die.
It's going to be a die. But then the wife says, "Oh yeah, I got one of those funny little nerd dice." And he's like, "Oh my God." And he goes to run to stop her. And he says, "Don't roll it." But of course, she's gone. She has vanished from their bathroom. And then we cut to, and the rest of the story sort of takes place in the realm of Die. And I'm assuming
narrators from Ash to his wife in the Die world.
Yeah. And I'm assuming we're going to be then dealing with all the new players in this new era. Some might be characters returning from previous, the previous round, or others might be all new. In this case, the main focus for this issue is Ash's wife, who is immediately confronted with some of her previous life trauma, like the challenge of giving birth, and some creatures. And then she sees her die on the ground, and when she picks it up, we realize that she has got the God Binder die, the one that what was her name, the woman who had it. She chose the bear last round, but the idea is you can bind one of these deities to you and then utilize its power. And so they all of a sudden, all the deities appear, all of her choices appear, and she has to make a decision. And she ends up going with the fox. Yeah, really great page. Oh my God. So phenomenal.
Hopefully you can see it because I can't see my screen.
No, it looks great. Yeah, okay. Absolutely. She chooses the fox, not knowing anything about these deities, and knowing she has to choose. What's that?
She chooses the bear. Because she says, "I don't know what any of these mean, but why wouldn't you choose the bear?"
Oh, okay. I crouch inside the prison. Says,
"What animal do you want to be?"
Got it. That's what it is. And then she chooses the symbol of her power to be the fox,
which was peppered in throughout the issue.
Yeah.
Do you notice that?
The image of the fox?
Yeah.
Yeah. Before they got into Die?
Yeah, it's on the baby's wall on the first page.
Oh wow.
There's a fox lamp on one of the characters' shelves, and a woman has a fox tattoo on her arm.
Oh, that's crazy. I'll have to look more closely at that. So yes, instantly she gains all these abilities and powers, and she's trying to understand kind of like what it all amounts to, what it all means. And of course, it then meets Molly, the daughter of one of the other players, who in the original Die, we learn she dies in there, but it wasn't that game. It would be one of the later games. And so the assumption being, oh, she's not going to make it out of here. And now we know two of the players in this game.
Yeah. Ash in his narration mentions that of how the mother thinks that the daughter is going to die, and Ash is like, well, we don't know that. It might be one of, the tricks played by this god who's just clearly has been messing with us this whole time in multiple ways. So you can't really take anything at face value. But
yeah,
the stars seem to be aligning for that to be happening if she got pulled into the game.
Yeah,
it is a dangerous place.
It's hard to know what it was real or not when they were in there the first time, and now that image of Molly and her form that she took in the game last time,
pretty badass.
Yeah, definitely felt real to them, as in like something that could end up happening to her, and now seems even more likely, right? So that's kind of how it ends, and we'll see if. My assumption is that each issue they'll find another player related to one of the original team players, and have to survive the game as a group.
I really liked. I mean, it was kind of a little cheesy, but I really liked it. Was the last lines of the first issue. Angela would never forgive me if anything happened to Molly. This is the Ash's wife speaking or narrating. She'd been so protective since she got back. I have to be the responsible one. That's a role I can play because it's a role-playing game. So once again, talking about like identity and like her character is this shape-shifting anamorph type character, but the role she's playing is motherly protector.
Right.
Which is, kind of what she is in the real world.
Yeah.
Because she gave birth on her own and was a single mom until Ash showed back up from being kidnapped.
Yep. And all of them basically kept the secret and haven't really explained in any real detail what went on. Although it seems like Chuck posthumously had a novel that was published loosely based on their first experience going in the game.
But writing a novel about it and saying, oh, this is a work of imagination versus saying, I got sucked into a D20 and lived in this world for years where I was battling kaiju monsters and
and like, Tolkien and
Tolkien himself.
Yeah.
It's a lot harder of a pill for people to swallow. So I understand why you wouldn't just be like, even to your partner, like, if you got sucked into a alternate dimension today and when you got back, would you, like, I'm sure you trust your wife implicitly, but would you feel comfortable being like, or would you feel comfortable enough that she wouldn't put you in the loony bin if you said I was sucked into a board game?
I think also a lot of them are fearful of the power that the game has.
Right. Because
the deity of God. Yeah, the deity of Die is quite chaotic and omnipresent and always looking for more power and more ways to play. And the fear they had was spreading knowledge about the game gave it more power. And that's why Ash gets upset when Saul talks about wanting to publish the game. He's like, this is literally the opposite of what we were trying to stop. Like, come on, man.
Yeah. And I also think it's I was going to say this earlier when you were talking about Saul. There is that kind of feeling, especially with someone like him, where, it's analogous to what a lot of people deal with in wartime soldiers, where they're like, they're desperate to get out, obviously, but when they're out, they're like, I need to get back.
Yeah.
Because the job's not finished, or my friends are still over there and I'm over here and I'm not helping them. And
for sure. And I know that was the big trauma for Ash when she was confronted with Saul when they went back into the game. I think Saul was very clearly someone she felt a lot of guilt and remorse about, and their dynamic was sort of central to a lot of the plot for the first 20 issue story.
But again, I haven't read the first series in a number of years, but I feel like I remember that it wasn't like a conscious choice for them to say we're not going back in. They didn't know how to get back.
No, they had no real idea, and then
until they got the die.
Saul intervened, and sent them the dice.
It's a little bit different where it's like from the example I just gave, because they couldn't have just been like, we have to go back and find them. We have to go to to the Upside Down for all you Stranger Things fans. By the way, new season. You like it?
What? Yeah.
We can talk about that later.
Oh my goodness.
I didn't. Well, I just have some severe issues with it.
Okay. I'm loving it. I'm ready for more.
I totally dug the last season, so I'm not just being like Mr. Grumpy Pants like I tend to be. Anyway. See how they pull it together in the finale on Christmas.
And then New Year's for the movie.
Right.
Because it's like more is more.
And then the spin-off shows, and then the breakfast cereals, and the
the Hopper show.
And they got to pay for that Warner Brothers deal somehow.
Right. Absolutely. Get the Duffer Brothers on their next idea. Something with a 90s theme.
So
I will say, as someone who was excited and had a lot of trepidation about a die follow-up storyline, I was both relieved and happy, but also it did not have the same impact for me as the original book issue 1 had. And I don't know that that's a huge shot against it. I think this issue is very good and head and shoulders above a lot of issue number 1s that we do on this show. Inversely, I think the first issue of Die is like a top 3 issue for this show in
for
7 years.
Like that Little Bird,
right?
Maybe
maybe it's a top 2.
Righteous Thirst for Vengeance, or
right?
Or 8 Billion Genies. Maybe
that's a great 4 or 5 sum right there. Yeah. So for me, like it's not a shot against it to say it's not at that level, but it certainly feels like it has all the same elements, all the same talent, all the same hype and excitement, and all the same exciting twists for me. I was very pleased with what I got.
The concern is that it's like, we're just making a sequel to make a sequel, and the quality could dip quite a bit.
For sure.
And obviously, as huge fans of the first series, both of us, there is that like expectation that, this series was like the, Precious Metal, the Little Bird sequel, where, going into that, you're like, I love Little Bird so much. This is going to be just as good.
Don't fuck it up.
I mean, that also was another series that was just as good.
Yeah.
In some ways and different other ways, but so it would have been very easy to read this and say like, it's just not the same.
Yeah.
But it just, to me, it feels like a really good start of a season 2.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's has the same feel. Like I was pretty enraptured by the whole book. Is it a 10 out of 10 like Die number 1 was? Maybe not, but it's a 9.4 near mint.
Nicely played. Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I was, I was holding my breath a little bit, opening it up and diving in just with that. I think I just had I didn't have like high expectations. I had low fears, I guess you could say. I was more worried about, somebody fucking up something really great than I was like, are you worthy of it?
Yeah, and I mean it is a little bit different than like a TV series or a movie franchise or something where the same two people are working on this that made the first one, and so it's not like a lot of extra outside influences or totally different perspectives are taking over on this, and you know,
the creators, the idea makers had complete control, right? And it was
and
their
especially because
baby.
it's an image book, so they were under no pressure to, I mean, maybe personal pressure, but no publisher pressure, I'm sure, to
Right.
say, oh, you need to do another one of these, like with a Marvel series or whatever, because it's, to a point when you're at the level that these creators are at, certainly, like, kind of feel like you can do what you want to do.
Yeah, and I think clearly it was an endeavor that they both felt was very creatively stimulating. Stephanie Hans and Kieran Gillen clearly enjoyed the experience from those original 20, and they went out and helped create this game and do a whole Kickstarter for that, and the hardcover edition is really, really gorgeous, by the way. Anybody who wants to spend that kind of money on, of course I bought it. The Image does those great hardcover collected editions. It's a one volume buy, so it's nice and easy to read it. But it's also a little oversized. It's kind of nice and big. You get the artwork a little bit bigger, which with Stephanie Hans, that's of course a treat. So clearly, I think they had a lot of affection for this experience and are with the right idea, and I think they've got one here. It's a wonderful opportunity to revisit that universe.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to continue the journey with it again. Um, I mean, with the mediocrity of so many books that comes out nowadays, like see something that, like I said, was from front to back, like I was locked into. I feel like happens less and less now. So
For sure.
really good stuff. Check it out. Go
Yeah, and I
buy
think
die.
as I say, the next issue might come out next week, actually.
Sure does.
Yeah. So you can probably get second prints of issue 1 and grab an issue 2 and be all set. I was double checking.
I didn't see on the list that there's a second print as of yet.
Oh, okay.
But I'm sure it's not hard to track down a copy of issue 1. It's not like it sold out as far as I know anywhere.
And then there's a Franny cover variant for issue 2 if you're a Justine Franny fan. So sorry, I was just glancing to remind myself that it was next week. So yeah, definitely, 9.4 at the minimum for me. It might even be a 9.6, depending on how this all comes together. But as a single issue, really strong start, and
for sure.
all the same vibes. And it's all the covers are on my pull list. If they get into my shop, I'm getting them. So, but they only had 2. I didn't have that Fox cover. I don't remember. I don't know how I missed it.
Variant.
So that might have been what they may not have ordered enough for it.
I think it's 1 in 25.
Okay.
Yeah, 1 in 25. All right. So should we quickly, or I guess we can take as much time as we really want, but talk about Infernal Hulk a bit?
Yeah. Oh, we got the same cover. Nice.
Yeah, cover A. It was a good one. Good cover.
Out of curiosity, for Infernal Hulk, had how far up on the? Did you read any of the previous volume, The Incredible Hulk? I think it's 30
like
issues,
2 or 3 issues. So I didn't. Okay. I read a little bit about what led up to this, but I wanted to go into it a little bit blind in a way because
sure.
We talk a lot about number ones and how sometimes they're not really number ones, and I wanted to know, if you were coming into this as a completely blank slate Hulk reader, would it be like, oh, this is an issue 36, not an issue 1? Like,
right? Yeah, I'm very curious about how that went for you, because I, last year I mentioned, because it was whatever it was, issue, like last calendar year ended with issue let's just say 18 or whatever, and then this year it wrapped last month at issue 30, And then this would be issue 1. It's the same, like, creative team. Nick Klein has been doing the lion's share of the artwork, not all of it, but most of it from the last run. And of course, it's all Philip Kennedy Johnson on writing.
Right.
So I had loved it last year. It was a book I mentioned as one of my favorites, certainly from Marvel last year. And then this year, I kept it on my to be read digitally pile, and then just opened up the app, and I think I read everything up to whatever they had on the app. I think because it's like 3 to 4 months behind. And then so I'm fully caught up, and I read everything to this point so that I was ready for it. So we both had either end
different
of the spectrum.
Perspectives, yeah,
for sure.
I will say they don't waste any time throwing you into this one, and I love that. So basically, I mean, it's a pretty thick book too. It's not like it's a short issue 1. Like, they give you pages. The artwork is really
for
cool.
$4.99. Yeah.
So it starts off with this guy who looks like he's a contractor or construction worker or something. He's at this house that's being built with this other guy, and they hear this evacuation siren, and he's like, what the hell is that? It's an old evacuation siren. He said, I've never heard it before. They've never used it before. And it says 3 hours ago. And then it cuts to the military with tanks and helicopters and Apache helicopters and stuff, like, in this town, fighting what we assume is the Hulk, because or what they assume is the Hulk, we know is the Hulk, because it's the book.
Right.
We get a couple pages of him kind of like introducing his character by talking to these other soldiers, and then by page 4, it's just Hulk smashing. And it's just violent and colorful, and like, it doesn't really let its foot off the gas for the rest of the issue. So Hulk kills a bunch of people. He ensnares the main character in this like razor wire, and throws him into hell, for lack of a better term, where he apparently appears to be king. And he says, he has summoned this character to him, and he refers himself as the king. And then the last page, we kind of get this a number of brief shots of different superheroes in the Marvel world listening to the news talk about this incident, and how that it's going to be an age of monsters. And we see who we assume is Bruce Banner at a diner, and someone at the diner says, why can't we ever get a monster who's on our side? And which, obviously it's going to lead into a Hulk versus Hulk type of situation, which is always a good time. We've seen it with Red Hulk and
Mr.
Hulk
Fix
versus
It,
Abomination. Go Fix It. Hulk versus
they did that
at any time Hulk fights
Immortal
something
Hulk.
that is
he was always
Hulk
fighting
level.
Yeah.
It's a great time.
He needs someone that can match muscle with him, right?
So yeah, it was like a balls to the wall issue of just mayhem, and I have to say I kind of loved it.
Good.
And I didn't feel like I was missing out on being part of the cool kids table of knowing what happened, because at least so far it doesn't really matter. We see this crazy looking Hulk character with this big green scar. We know it's not Bruce Banner. He is just annihilating everything in his path. He is the king of this hell-like place, which was pretty cool. in its own, and then we get the hero reveal, last page hero reveal instead of last page villain reveal of Bruce Banner being set up to be the hero that he needs to be to rid the world and the underworld of this poser Hulk. And it wasn't trying to be anything that it's not. It was just a crazy, wild,
ultra violent movie. Yeah, for sure.
And it's literally exactly what I wanted out of the book when I picked it up.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, so I mean, I make no bones about the fact that it is easily the best book that was going at Marvel last year, or this year.
Mm-hmm.
I think the 30 issue, I mean, it's going to make an incredible omnibus at some point. It's a really amazing run. I know that the biggest complaint against it has been that when Nick Klein is not drawing it, it's not as good. Fair. But
I mean, you could say that about any artist who's at his level, because this book looks awesome.
It's so gorgeous. And I understand that complaint, although I will say I was never frustrated when another artist came in. I was fine with it and I enjoyed it just as much. But then Nick Klein would come back and you'd be like, oh dang, it's like you just shift into another gear a little bit, I
mean, when the other option is you maybe don't get a book for a couple of months, sometimes you just have to grin and bear it, and this is the name of the game, where clearly he doesn't skimp on detail or,
oh my god,
or interesting pages and stuff. So
the panel layouts are exciting, and when the spread page comes and he's throwing a helicopter at these tanks, you're just like, oh my god,
right? To maintain the level of quality, I'm sure 30 issues is a lot to keep up with a schedule like that. It's not
for sure
not the 60s or 70s anymore, where these artists are just
Frank Miller's doing 2 a month and writing and drawing it,
out.
and Klaus Jansson's saving him as the finisher. I'm glad you liked it. I loved it. I thought it was a great continuation. To your point, it's funny that we're comparing these two books, or at least, sorry, not comparing, that we are reading and discussing these two books on the same night, because it's almost like the same concept of volume 2 or part 2 or season 2 or whatever you want to call it.
And also main character getting pulled into a hellverse.
Right. And they give you in both cases a little hey, previously on Incredible Hulk, he was separated. It tells you, he was separated from Banner, split in apart, and this awful demon basically is inhabiting and controlling or piloting the Hulk. And then that's it. I don't need every bit of minutia that got him to that place. If I want, go read those 30 issues, and you should.
Which
really
I
great.
Probably will now.
But it is not required to enjoy this issue. And it only amplifies who this villain is, what his end game is. You just have a little bit more of an understanding. But this is a direct sequel to issue 30, as far as this awful thing happens. Bruce is sort of graphically ripped out of Hulk, dropped on the ground, and then you see this sort of scarred Hulk just ascending, right? And then boom, here we are at the ascension of the Infernal Hulk, and it all just works. And again, in both cases, comics that were made exceptional because of artistic talent, like Stephanie Hans and Nick Klein, dramatically different art styles and dramatically different talents, both crushing it. My favorite panel is the when he claps and explodes this guy's dome. It's just this is amazing.
Yeah.
He does that sonic clap thing, and the guy said something like, what do you want? And he goes, from you, splat, and he's like, nothing. He just
he definitely
the guy just falls to the ground. It's
very sassy and sarcastic. He's not
Yeah, and then there's that spread page I talked about, the helicopter. It's just so freaking good.
Really awesome.
So yeah, it's graphic, it's action packed, it's violent, and in a lot of ways what we always love, which is a there's no flashbacks, flash forwards. It's just like one little story, and at the very end we skip to other people outside of the events in the issue, but it's only to remind us that, like, oh yeah,
these characters exist in the same world.
Yeah, the Fantastic Four and the Avengers may have to deal with this. And where is Bruce Banner in all of this? Because he was kind of left for dead in a sense in the issue 30. So it gives you a little, like, breadcrumb as to where his whereabouts are.
Mm-hmm.
It all worked. It all worked in a real fun way, and it's been easily the most enjoyable book that Marvel. I might even say since Immortal Hulk, this might have been the most enjoyable book that Marvel's had since then.
Yeah, I was going to say I can't remember if ever the last time we talked about a Marvel #1 on this show where I was this enthusiastic about
it. Well, then I would recommend, take the time and catch up on the Incredible Hulk. I did a video on it a couple of weeks, or maybe just a week ago, saying how it was the best, just like Absolute Wonder Woman has been so fun and enjoyable at DC. Incredible Hulk's been the fun one at Marvel, and even if I was just reading those two books, I would be having a blast reading big two comics. That's all I need is, Wonder Woman going down into the underworld and Hulk pulling it up to our world. That's all I need.
Crossover?
Oh, I would be down for that.
I mean, hey,
absolute Infernal Wonder Woman Hulk.
They're doing all the Deadpool Batman stuff right now, so
right.
Never say never.
We can hope and dream. But yeah, those books. I mean, Kelly Thompson and Nick. Philip Kennedy Johnson and Kelly Thompson and Thompson and Johnson. Okay, sounds like a law firm. Are both just really talented writers, and so they've got very creative visions for these characters who are, they're old characters. They've been told, you think everything under the sun's been done with these characters, but then talented writers have ideas, and then beautiful artists come in and do these incredible drawings, and you're like, okay, I'm back. Let's have more.
Yeah, I'm into it.
Yep. So yeah, both are on my pull list for this. This is a good round of books. Infernal Hulk, it's about the same grade, honestly. I'd give this a 9.4 easy. I'm having a blast, and it's great. So
yeah, I mean, I don't know that I'll go that high, just because if I'm comparing it on the same grading scale, like,
sure,
Die had so much more substance to it. So but I'd give it a solid 9.
Sure. And I have the benefit of having like maybe 30 issues of preface,
right,
that like informs it in some way, but it doesn't add more substance, because the substance is just, let's see Hulk smash a bunch of crap.
Yeah. I mean,
that's the substance of the book.
Artistically, it was certainly a 9.4, maybe higher. But
and then we didn't talk too much about him raising this underworld. I think the visuals of that sequence are really kind of crazy, and the crazy zombies that he's got going. The skeleton city is so graphic. His throne looks so buck wild.
Yeah, that was another little point in the book that I neglected to mention, was when the main character is on the kind of behind the sandbags with some soldiers, and he says, one of the soldiers is talking to him, and he says, like, oh, I'll watch out for you, I'll watch your back.
Yeah.
Hulk kills the dude, and then that dude's zombified self is in the hell world when the main character gets there, and he says, you promised you'd look out for me. And so
and the drawings of layer his, the horror on his face, besides being like a zombie with no nose, you can still see the impact that the sentence has on him. It's great. So good.
Very good stuff. All right, well, that about does it, I think, for another one. DJ Khaled. You got anything you want to plug before we go?
I mean, if you want more Infernal Hulk, Immortal Hulk, Incredible Hulk, whatever, I did a video on it last week, and I did a video on Absolute Wonder Woman, so you guys can check that out. I think I've got a video tomorrow. Yeah, an unboxing tomorrow that I did. So that's what's coming out tomorrow.
Very cool. Go check out his channel. It's much more active and informative and entertaining than this one is.
Hey, we've got our best of 2025 video coming here soon, live stream coming soon.
Well, that'll be on your channel, right?
It was supposed to be on yours this year, but now we skipped. I don't know how that worked out, but I'm happy to host it if you want.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And I also need to read some books before then to actually make an informed decision.
Yep, this is true. I just watched 2 more videos. Nick Comic Culture did a great best of 2025 video of all his indie faves. Although there are some absolute books in there, don't hold it against him. But he definitely threw a couple more onto my list of stuff to watch. So always more books to read.
Yeah, man. So little time.
Ain't it the truth?
Well, if we stop jabbering at each other, maybe we can go read some more books.
Right.
Which is what you should all do.
Read your comics.
Jay gives a shout out to the Welcome to Derry show, which I'm not caught up on yet, but what I've watched has been a lot of fun.
I hear good things. I don't know if I can trick my wife into that one. Horror's not her jam.
Well, watch it on your iPad in bed for...
I mean, that's how I got to watch Sinners. I finally got around to that one. That was a good movie.
How good is that movie?
Fucking great. Loved it. Yeah.
Yeah, go watch Sinners.
So good.
Okay, well, never turn your back on a deity that's trying to drag you into a hell world, apparently, from what we learned this week.
That's my job.
Until next time, see ya. Bye.